Hi YouTubers, Martin here. So I have been a little bit delayed with posting my daily content. It's been quite busy. Over the weekend I had several client encounters that I had to do in addition to really prepping for 3 exams over the weekend up until this week. So it's been quite busy for me, but I wanted to touch base with you all and send some content your way. So it's a little delayed, but I missed Medical Mondays, but I wanted to talk to you about medical or medically related information. So on that note, I wanted to talk to you about my career path into medicine. We can talk about medical diseases and disorders as well, I feel like, but I wanted to make it more relevant to like the medical school journey that I was in for a little bit. Okay, so as some of you know, I'm not one of the traditional medical graduate folks. I'm actually not in the 20-something range. I don't want to reveal my age, but I'm not in the 20-something range. I'm not out of, undergrad. I already have, a couple of undergrads. I already have a couple of master level education behind me. But in 2017, I decided to go ahead and apply into a couple of medical schools, really look into a couple of places that I have had my eye on. Being that I'm not a traditional medical student, I decided to go to one of the medical schools in the Caribbean, and I had a few of them in my mind. I had, of course, the Big Four, which is American University of the Caribbean, I think, St. George's. There are other two, but those are the big ones that come to mind. I know St. George's is a big one that really is looking into recruiting people that are like me, don't really want to invest all that extra stuff, and it's been really challenging. I don't know after COVID if it's gonna be the same, but it's been really challenging to get into medical programs. So as I was saying, I'm gonna go backtrack into 2017 when early 2017, I applied to a medical school in the Caribbean, International University of the Health Sciences, which is located in St. Kitts. And I have several other programs that actually got accepted and looked into and got accepted at St. James School of Medicine, which is really kind of funny because my high school alma mater is St. James School of Parañaque. But so St. James School of Medicine has 2 campuses, one in Anguilla and one in St. Vincent. So I got accepted to that one last year, but I got accepted into IUHS. I started doing their program, and I was a year and a half into the program, and I was really struggling with the idea of how to move forward. I felt like the instructors were like amazing. I would say at least about 65-70% of the professors there were maybe more like 70-75% of the professors there were at the level of like Kaplan. Literally, I don't want to disclose any names, but I had professors who wrote for Kaplan. They're amazing. So I learned a lot of things with like biochemistry, microbiology, like the other ones like physiology. I think I did have some folks who had their general PhDs and MDs. And then my clinical professors were like practicing physicians in the islands. So they had a really unique perspective, which I really appreciated. They had perspectives as to like how to manage folks in a clinical setting. So I really liked that. And then I had professors in like the general sciences, or the what we call basic sciences in medical school, that I felt was really amazing with teaching me USMLE, high yield material. So that I would have to say it's a really good experience. The challenge I had with that experience is that the clerkship, which is the third and fourth year, the clinical rotation was a little bit of a challenge because it's limited by way of clinical sites. So that was difficult for me to really ingest and digest. And I had a lot of self-doubt, if I'm going to be frank with you. I had a lot of self-doubt and things that I struggled with regards to like what the second half of medical school is going to look like. So I struggled with that. I felt like the school really gave you a lot of the tools. Like we had the DXR clinician, which is like a clinical simulation lab that they had virtually, which I thought was really cool. I got to see patients in a virtual environment, get to diagnose, get to assess, etc. That was good, and I've had, I think, relatively positive comments and feedback from my professors as far as how I need to do my SOAP notes. For those of you who know what SOAP notes are, it's subjective, objective assessment and plan. That's how we document our findings. And then it's very comprehensive, so I really like that piece. But I struggled really with the later part of it. You know, like where do I go to clinicals? Where do I do my clerkships? And then, of course, there's a lot of trepidation behind step one. For those of you who are not familiar with medical licensure examination, there's a step one, which is your basic sciences, biochemistry, genetics, physiology, pharmacology, and then I'm missing a couple of things there somewhere. But there's a big content of like the basic sciences that you need to know as a physician. And then once you pass step one, then you get into your clinical rotations, and then you get to do your step two, which is your CKs and CS, which is the clinical component, which I hear people like me with a ton of background really succeed or are more attuned with. So I struggled with those pieces of it, of like, I'm not sure the step one and step two is gonna be gonna go well. It's one of those things where you're just kind of And to give you a perspective, I am no novice. I have taken a million exams in my lifetime. I have taken the LVN nursing boards. I've taken the LMFT, which is the Licensed Marriage and Family Therapist board, which I'll talk a little bit more about this upcoming Thursday when I post Therapeutic Thursday. So I've done a lot of exams, but that was a difficult kind of realization and maybe observation and then contemplation and like a life review on my part. There were, of course, regrets and things that I feel like I coulda, shoulda, woulda, but then I also had to think about quality of life and the next steps moving forward. So after some review of my process, I decided not to continue my medical training. So I stopped at a year and 3/4 of medical school, and I'm deciding to go with a nurse practitioner route. So I'm now currently in my LVM to RN route and then into the NP route. I just feel like at this point in my life, at this point in my career, it just makes more sense where I can still practice fairly independently. I'm already a nurse. I already have that core nursing background. And I'll talk a little bit more about that maybe in the next video on medical careers. I've been a nurse for quite some time. I felt like it just makes sense for me. I'm also a licensed psychotherapist where I practice independently and see clients and provide counseling and psychotherapy. I feel like there is just this breadth of information, this breadth of scope of practice for me that medicine would just not be as advantageous. It has a lot of advantages, but it's not as advantageous. So I decided to do that. I know it sounds like you might hear this. I know as I'm talking about it, I may be reflecting some of you out there saying, man, that's a lot of schooling. But I had to tell you, I had fun doing the little twists and turns in my career. I've learned so much, and I feel so fortunate and blessed and just grateful for the people that I've met along the way, because there are a lot of brilliant people out there and I've learned so much from them. So if you have any questions about the process of getting into medical school in the US, in North America, or in the US particularly, feel free to like the video or hit that subscribe button and comment below. Let me know what you think. And if you want to know more content about medicine or medical Mondays, if you want me to start talking about diseases, I am no medical doctor. I was a medical student. I am no medical expert, but I have medical training and experience. So please feel free to let me know. I would love to post information on Medical Mondays for you. And if you want to talk about like your process and talk to me about your struggles, if you're in a similar situation, if you're in undergrad, if you're straight out of high school, maybe you're thinking about medical school, feel free to chat me up and we'll go from there. I look forward to hearing from you and see you on the next one. Peace. Take it easy.